Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Senior Bowl, so how important is this week for you guys?
Yeah, I think this. I think the last 2 years have been unusual for for the evaluation process for our league, and so it's good to be back into the circumstance that feels a lot more normal than it has been the last 2 years, and so it's a real good information gathering circumstance for us, and look, our college scouts were able to get on campuses this year. They were able to do much more of a normal process than they were the year before. So I feel good about where we're at. But again, this is a valuable event for not just the Saints, but for our entire league.
Does anything with the scouting process change, going from Sean to Dennis, just as far as communication, type of players you guys like? Does anything change with anything?
Well, look, we've had a few changes on our coaching staff, so certainly, part of that is making sure that as a personnel department, our guys understand exactly what our coaches value at the positions that they coach. But we've had a lot of carryover too, so there hasn't been a lot of change, but just it's more nuanced than it is change. In terms of communication and the process, that hasn't changed. We're a team that gets that believes in having our coaching staff, heavily involved in the evaluation process, particularly for the draft and free agency, and that's going to continue.
And how much is the way you guys build your roster dictated by what the other teams in your own division are doing?
Yeah, I wouldn't say a lot. I'd say it's a lot more about what we do as opposed to what teams in our division do.
Do you think it's difficult to have the approach of getting a quarterback through the draft when you pick so far back? Is that possible, or does it need to be addressed before?
Well, I think that would be difficult, just because when you're picking in the latter half of the draft, you just don't know what's going to fall to you, number one. So it's hard to target someone. And look, there, even if you decide you want to make a move forward, you're limited in that. Moving from where we're at 18 into the top 8 or 10 picks is really difficult. It's expensive in terms of the draft capital you have to give up, and so it's unrealistic. Typically, it can happen. It's not impossible, but pretty difficult to predict.
Where's the value in this draft? Where's the best position?
Yeah, I think we're still sorting that out, John. I think that there's, based on what we've seen so far, I think there's a really strong group of receivers and DBs and there's a couple other positions, but I think we're still gathering that information.
What's kind of your take on this boom of young receivers in the NFL? It seems like a lot of guys just come in ready to play.
Yeah, I think that's. I remember, and this is maybe 10, 12 years ago, the studies were always that it took receivers 3 years to, get acclimated and,
right.
and really get their feet on the ground and have success. And recently that trend has changed, and we've had guys come in right away as rookies and have significant success. And I think that's probably a reflection of the passing game in college, and these guys being well coached at the college level. So, but it is different than it was, say 10, 15 years ago.
It even goes back to like 7-on-7 stuff like that. You just kind of now starting to see all that stuff kind of play out now.
Yeah, certainly. That's a factor. Yeah, the high schools. Yeah, they just throw it a lot more than they used to. That's plain and simple.
Not doing the fear anymore. This is like kind of a large draft class too, right?
Yes.
Like just because all the COVID guys
yes.
coming out and everything.
Yeah.
So how does that at all change what you guys are doing? And secondly, like as some of these guys are going to be 24-year-old rookies, does that factor into that too?
I don't think the age factors in that significantly. I think the size of the class does, though, and so what you would probably say on the surface is that having multiple picks in the second, third, fourth rounds, even fifth round, are really probably more valuable than you would say in the past. And look, there's going to be a lot of undrafted free agents that are really good players that in another year might be drafted, and so there's not going to be a real opportunity, not just in the draft but after the draft.
Mickey, what role is, I'm probably going to say his name wrong, Matt Rhea? Like, is he the strength and conditioning?
Yeah, he's going to be the director of sports science for us, and he's going to be head of the strength and conditioning program.
What are some of the things you like? Saban mentioned that like those guys cut down their soft tissue injuries.
Yeah, I think we're just advancing in terms of the technology and the techniques and the things that he's going to apply. Hopefully, help us with. Not just the injury factor, although that's important, but in terms of, just the performance of our athletes.
And then Cody Burns, what was what are some of the things you guys like?
Yeah, look, that's a guy that, this is probably a better question for Dennis than me, but he's a guy who kept hearing his name repeatedly. I've said to you guys before that one of the questions I always ask of our scouts is, who are the college coaches out there that you guys are really impressed with as you make your campus visits, and that's a name that came up several times, and it was very impressive in the interview process, and we kept hearing really good things about him, and I think we're fortunate to have him.
Yeah. Talk to Dennis. There he is. He busted for y'all, man. Mickey Loomis, man, the GM of the Saints, busted. Talk to Dennis. That's the first time. All right, much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all joining me for this installment of the show. And like I've been saying for some time now, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, but we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, the host. You're the great Saint Think Tank. Much love to the fam. I salute the Who Dat Nation. I salute the Black and Gold Nation. I salute you. Much love to the fam. Much love indeed. So big ups to the fam. Appreciate y'all joining me for this late edition Thursday show. Saints at a 2022 NFL Scouting Combine. And of course, we started the show off with, you know who it is. It's Mickey. Mickey dropping some science on the rest of the Who Dat Nation, thinking about some things. But made mention of Cody Burns, the new wide receiver coach. He also talked about the new strength and conditioning coach, Dr. Rhea, that comes over from the University of Alabama with some, I kind of say, new way of thinking in terms of bringing that mindset into the side of the conditioning aspect to kind of bring up the Saints. We had Dale Rempel for years under Coach Payton since '06, and Dennis Allen, one of the first moves he did was to just get a new strength and conditioning coach, somebody that's more current with the newest scientific measurements and the things that need to be done. So that was a bit of innovation right there by the Black and Gold, to be honest with you, fam. And Mickey speaking about it, among other things. So welcome to the show. I appreciate you guys being up in here. Much love to everybody as well. Brother Jerry, Joe Guidry, Trey Joseph, Derek Cropper, I see you, fam. Much love. Tramal, Young City, Ninth Ward, Brother Prime is in the building. Tim Dunn is in the building. 504 Co, I see you, fam. Who that to everybody as well. Zoidy, I see you, fam. Marcos, what's up, fam? Who that to you? Brother Tyrese is in the building as well. All right, Keelan, what's up, fam? Much love to you and the rest of the fam. Who that to you? Lori, what's happening, baby? Much love to the queens. Much love to the kings as well. So big ups to the fam. Please hit the like button if you hadn't hit it. Also hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber, and join, baby, the Great Saint Think Tank, the Sports Coma. Much love to the fam. So Mickey brings us in. What's up, Jarrell? Who that to you, fam? Brother Charles, I see you, fam. Mickey starts off the broadcast, fam, and kind of drops some information, and we're going to cover it in an article from Luke Johnson. Got several articles we're going to go over, fam, so I'm going to try to keep y'all too long on the stream tonight. What's up, Brother Slim? Who that to you as well? We're going to run through these things, so please hit the like button as we get going, baby. All right, we're going to start it off, and this one's coming from NOLA.com's Luke Johnson. We're going to cover this. We're going to cover another article right here, contract projections for top Saints free agents. We're going to talk about the Saints signing, re up with Juwan Johnson on a 1-year deal. We're going to cover that as well. The NFL Players Union agreed to suspend the C-19 protocols. I'm going to talk about that as well. So we're going to get off into the stream. So let's start it off. Mickey opens up the broadcast at the Saints at the Combine. And what's the Saints plan at QB? What's up with Mike Thomas? Mickey Loomis addresses those big topics. Of course, it was like a 14-minute interview. I wasn't going to play the whole thing. The NFL descended upon Indianapolis this week to scout the next wave of NFL talent. But that is only one piece of assembling the roster as the New Orleans Saints are assembling their draft boards. They're also mapping out how they will put the rest of the puzzle together. With the start of the NFL free agency right around the corner, those decision processes are taking shape. The most important question the Saints have to answer is who will play quarterback for the team in 2022 and potentially beyond. Presently, the Saints have 3 quarterbacks under contract next season: Taysom Hill, Ian Book, and Blake Bortles, of all people. But they will be adding at least 1 and a potential 2 players to that mix. And there's the timing element to this, as teams will begin negotiating with free agents on March the 14th. The Saints do not want to be the team left standing when the music stops. Jameis Winston, who started 7 games for the team last year before tearing his ACL in week 8, well, actually, a dirty play by a Buck player did that. And of course, you heard what Mickey said. We covered that. We're approaching the quarterback decision with a sense of urgency. That's for sure. Yeah, we're approaching quarterback decision with a sense of urgency. That's for sure. Hopefully we can get something done with one of these guys that's available. Jameis is certainly an option for us. We're hoping option for him as well. We'll go through the process here and see what happens. The Saints roster situation, despite a salary cap situation that seems outwardly precarious, the New Orleans Saints should have to gut its roster. Shouldn't have to, or should not. In the offseason, it feels like the roster it has in place could continue with the right quarterback. That, combined with the uncertainty of who will be available when the Saints' turn comes around in the draft, points toward the Saints most likely opting for a veteran quarterback. The Saints currently hold the number 18 pick in the draft. When asked whether the Saints' current draft position would make him uncomfortable waiting until April to address the quarterback position, Mickey said, quote, it will be difficult because when you're picking in the latter half of the draft, you don't know what's going to fall to you. So it's hard to target someone. And even if you decide you want to move forward, you're limited in that move from where you're at 18 into the top 8 or 10 picks. It's really difficult. It's expensive in terms of draft capital. You have to give up. So anyway, there's also the question of who that quarterback is going to throw to and who is going to protect that quarterback. Let's get into it. Mike Thomas. Loomis said he expects wide receiver Mike Thomas to be back for the 2022 season after injuries wrecked his 2020-21 campaigns, adding that initial reports coming back on Thomas' recovery have been positive. Here's Mickey. He says, I know it's certainly motivated. He's certainly motivated. He's always motivated, so that's not the issue. So even if the Saints are banking on a return to form for Thomas, there are some unresolved questions beyond them. New Orleans lacked punch from its receivers in 21, while Thomas missed the entire season, and two of its top options from last season are not under contract for 2022. Traquan Smith, get the hell out of here, while Deontay Harris-Harty will be a restricted free agent. The Saints looking to re-sign him. The Saints receivers currently signed for the 2022 season. Only one is Callaway, recorded more than 250 yards receiving last season. So we got work to do. We've got room. Saints also will be looking for a new left tackle. Teron Armstead, who has manned that position for the last 8 seasons, is set to hit the free agency. And despite persistent injury issues that have plagued Armstead throughout his career, he's currently or widely considered one of the top offensive tackles in the NFL when healthy, making 3 of the last 4 Pro Bowls. The NFL's 3 highest paid left tackles all command at least $22 million per year, and Armstead could very well join them this offseason. Last offseason, Trent Williams reset the left tackle market with a 6-year, $138 million deal, despite dealing with his own injuries and being a year older than Armstead. And you don't think Armstead wants to bank out? And Trent Williams is good, but man, Armstead was healthy, way better than that dude. And if that sort of market develops for Armstead this offseason, he's likely to test free agency. The Saints likely would be priced out of competing for his services. The same idea applies to safety Marcus Williams, who the Saints are not likely to apply a franchise tag to for the second consecutive year. The top 3 earners at free safety all make more than $14 million annually. And if a team values Williams at that level, New Orleans may be forced to let him walk. As with any offseason, these are all fluid situations with many variables at play, but the Saints are getting their plans in place. So really good article by Luke Johnson. Please feel free to go to NOLA.com and check that article out and read other stuff from Luke. He's a good, he covered this one pretty good. So let's address some of this stuff. He talked about Jameis Winston and family members all in. Now we know we talked about that as well. Thank you, Brother Prime, for becoming a member, sir. Thank you for the last 18 months. Appreciate Prime being a member for 18 months. Much love to you. All right, so let's start with Jameis Winston, being that is the most important question as far as the Saints are going. Of course, you look at the money, monetarily speaking, the Saints currently still a little bit over $40 million in overage. We have to get down into the black. That we're currently 40 plus mil in the red as far as the cap situation is concerned. We have several restructuring we have to do to kind of get that down, and we have to get that done by mid-March. Another thing to be considered is the fact that Saints do have a lot of draft capital. What do the Saints do with all that good draft capital? Do they fill out skilled players around said quarterback? And he made a good point about the Saints sticking with a veteran. Why? Because it makes sense. The Saints' whole offseason up to this point, as wild and as predictable as it's been in certain aspects, Coach Payton kind of stunned Who Dat Nation when he stepped down. And, of course, he named his successor, which was Dennis Allen. It took us around the world to get to him, but we finally made it there. Then we found out, Carmichael didn't want to be the OC originally. Then he changed his mind after the Saints were looking for OCs. So we ended up with the guys we thought we were going to get initially. Even with the coordinators, we knew it would be between Ryan Nielsen and Coach Richard. And what did they do? They co-defensive coordinated them. What does that mean? Saints walk in a very conservative path here. So we're not with the movement to stay familiar. That's the term right there that I'm searching for. Familiarity is the key term here this offseason for the Saints. They're not looking to do anything totally revolutionary. They're just basically keeping the status quo to a degree. Now, they did sprinkle in a little seasoning into the mixture, into the gumbo that they were cooking with the new strength and condition coach. That was a good one. And a new wide receivers coach and Cody Burns. That was a good one. A little fresh blood here or there. Very, very well done. Now, if you see what the familiarity the Saints have been utilizing for pretty much this offseason, I anticipate that trend to continue moving forward because Jameis Winston would definitely fit that dynamic. This will be his third year being here. He's familiar with the offense. He wants to be here, and I think that's something we can look at keeping. Brother Prime, thank you for your super chat. Say I think Velus Jones Jr., wide receiver from Tennessee, would be a steal. Thank you, Brother Prime. And we're going to talk about the draft, too. I'm going to have some of the family members to do drafts, and we'll cover it tomorrow's show. I'll open up the lines of communication and allow the family members to share their drafts and explain that. So we'll do our first mock draft on Friday, and I'll invite the family members to do theirs as well. Thank you, Brother Prime. All right, let's move forward. So I'm thinking Jameis will be that guy there at the quarterback position. It just makes sense with some of the stuff the Saints are going to do and to keep things moving as they want to, along with Dennis Allen, Pete Carmichael, Coach Richard, Ryan Nielsen. The quarterback situation should be the same. Jameis should be the guy. He wants to be here. And the Saints want to have Jameis. It's a good matchup for him. It'll be his third year in the system, and you just have to build the offense around Jameis Winston. Whatever happens to Alvin Kamara, we'll figure that out. Mike Thomas will come back healthy. So the Saints will have an opportunity to add skill set players around the black and gold. So the next issue we talked about in the article is Terron Armstead. He's right on Terron Armstead, and we talked about this ad nauseum during the offseason, during the season, and before the season, when we talked about how the Saints had leaked it that they would let him test the market, but we knew that Terron Armstead will bank out. I kind of kept telling people, I even showed them the cap resources from Sport Track and Over the Cap showing that an estimated value for Terron Armstead's services is $20+ million. He is right now picked to be one of the top offensive linemen, and this is from NFL.com. As you see, these are the top 100 free agents that's available this year, and that's by Greg Rosenthal of NFL.com. And if you scroll down, you see Devontae Adams, wide receiver, sitting on top. And you keep scrolling down, look at Mr. Armstead sitting right here at 4th on the list. And he's sitting over the 26-year-old Orlando Brown, which he's way better than them. He's healthy. He's going to bank out. So a lot of people see Terron Armstead there, and he could be a help. So that's why I was saying that Terron Armstead, the Saints won't be able to afford Terron. It's up to him if he wants to stay. If he gives him a sweetheart deal, that'll work. But any other way, absolutely not. Terron Armstead is good as going, man. Especially, man, $20 million, man. And, of course, we move on to the question of, and the really good what they made mention of was Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams, he's right. Marcus Williams is a guy that is going to command north of $13 million. We said that last year when he wanted the money. You take a look at the free agents here, and as you get down to safety, they got Jesse Bates here first as the number 10, then Tyrann Mathieu is 11, and they got Marcus Williams at 12th. And then what they say in NFL.com is they say, note, this is not a ranking of how much money each player will make. I appear to value top safeties more than NFL general managers do. And there are a few safeties better and steadier than Williams. This is what Rosenthal is saying, even though Marcus Williams showed a lot of improvement, especially last year under Coach Richard. But do the Saints feel comfortable enough in paying Marcus Williams $13+ million, north of $13 million a year? Well, Dennis Allen's running a team now, right? So Dennis Allen likes Marcus Williams, but is that enough to get Marcus Williams the money? So we'll see how that all shakes and goes, but those are interesting issues. But I don't anticipate the Saints using the franchise tag on Marcus Williams again. They either get up off the pot, crap, or get up off the pot. I hate to use that vulgar analogy, but this is what they need to do in terms of Marcus Williams. Make a decision on him and move on. Either decide to sign the young man, bring him on in, or find somebody else. Like I just showed you in free agency, they have, this is Rosenthal, he has 2 safeties higher than Marcus Williams on this free agency list. Jesse Bates, the 25-year-old from the Bengals there, And of course, Tyrann Mathieu, who is here, the 30-year-old safety here, who is quite the playmaker. So you can see him right there, 1, 2, 10, 11, and 12. So we'll see where the chips fall as far as that's concerned. Let's move on to the next article here, and that's comparing the contract projections for top free agents, for the Saints top free agents anyway. So let's get into it. This is from Ross over at the Saints Network. At the Saints Wire. Jameis Winston, as you can see here, the Sport Track projection, you like to use those two. It's the best resource, $5 to $10 million per year. And you can see the PF Focus projection at $7 to $12 million a year for Jameis. Average projection is about $8.5 million. So they're saying between $5 to $10 million, and it could spike a bit depending on the competition that Jameis gets from other teams, which should be looking at Jameis Winston, perhaps the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There have been articles, we showed it on the show, from Buccaneers press and papers in their area, pushing Tampa Bay to go back to Jameis Winston after his journey to the black and gold made him very responsible, kind of turned his head in the right direction. And they're looking to get Jameis Winston back to Tampa. That is something. Perhaps Pittsburgh is another team that's looking, and there's several other teams who are looking, that could possibly be looking at Jameis Winston as a quarterback. That's the bad news. The good news is that Jameis appears and have said that he wants to be with the Saints, and he'll definitely make the best money he's ever made with the Saints this year. But that's pretty good projection by Sportrack. That has it between $5 to $10 million, which is not a bad price to pay for a starting quarterback as young as Jameis Winston, who's going to be affiliated with your offensive system for the past 3 years and could have had some success, a lot of success, especially last year. If healthy, he would have had his best year. So fixing the offensive line, giving him weapons around him, we'll finally see him and Mike Thomas. But the rumor mill is saying that the Saints they want Jameis Winston back, and it makes sense, and Jameis wants to be here. So, and then the path of least resistance for Jameis to be a starting quarterback in the New Orleans Saints building, 3 years in the system, man, let me tell you something. This is a good pairing. It might drive up his asking costs because people are looking at it, but I think they'll get this done. Jameis will be a quarterback with the black and gold. Let's go to Mr. Terron Armstead. We covered that. Sport Track, I showed you their numbers. Estimated $20+ million per year for Terron Armstead. He'll be completely priced out of the Saints. It just all depends on which direction Terron wants to go. If Terron wants to come here, he would probably more than likely have to give the Saints an opportunity he might have to give the Saints a hometown discount, or, to kind of stay with the team. But I just don't see why he would do that. I think Terron Armstead still should bank out and go do his thing. He done paid his dues. He done played for the Saints for 8 years. It's time for him to go get that big paper, baby. Go ahead and bank out. I'm not mad at you, Terron. Much love, brother. Marcus Williams, this is a big question right here as well. And plus the Saints are a bit cash strapped right now. And even when they get underneath the $40 million+ overage, they still have some work to do. Sport Track projection of Marcus Williams have him north of the $13 million, it said, but $15 million per year that he can get. I'm pretty sure somebody will give him this, and it'd probably be your rivals looking to bank out with Marcus Williams, but he wants that paper, baby. And they in line, $15 million a year for him. Behind Jameis and Marcus may be the most important player on the list, with Coach Dennis Allen at the helm after being elevated from the defensive coordinator. Would make sense to see appointed a charge toward keeping Williams, who's one of the top free safeties in the NFL. With a dry draft class and free agent market when it comes to rangy safety play, keeping Williams in New Orleans becomes all the more imperative. Via a long-term deal or a second consecutive year on the franchise tag, which will carry at least $13 million price tag in 2022. The Saints could do everything they can to keep Williams from heading elsewhere. So yes, indeed, $13 million on the tag for the Saints, and north of $13 million a year to get a deal done. So the Saints really don't want to pinch the cap. Use the franchise tag. Just get the deal done with Marcus Williams, man. Under Coach Rashard, I think he'll continue to blossom into a very good safety. So he should be a guy that they look to sign and bring back. All right, move on to Mr. Deontay Harris-Harty. Estimated just under $10 million a year. Wide receiver Deontay Harty was the Saints' most reliable receiver in 21 when available. He went through early portion of the season, leading the team in receiving yards, finishing the year with 570 yards. He trailed only Callaway with 698. With new wide receiver coach Cody Burns in the facility, the Saints should be looking to revamp this position, but not with the exclusion of Harty. And Deontay is an exclusive rights free agent. So he will be able to, I think he's restricted. I'm sorry. He should be able to come back. But the reality is, yeah, you want to definitely bring Deontay Harris-Harty back at $9 million a year. We'll see if that cap holds the value, but he's a tremendous force wide receiver wise, catches the ball really well. And his numbers could have been a lot better. He was dealing with injury. He had the suspension that happened to him as well. So Deontay Harris, man, we done groomed this guy to be a player for us, and hopefully we can stick around. But at $9 million, do you keep Deontay Harris-Harty? You guys let me know. And that's some of the guys right there. Not too many big name guys, but Marcus Williams is the guy on the back end of the defense. You still got the guy to his left there. As you can see, Malcolm Jenkins getting older. So you want to probably end up, look out for those guys. Do you see guys like P.J. Williams you can get for cheap too on a 1 year, 2 year deal? I can see P.J. coming back to help out in the safety room. But at some point, the Saints going to have to pick up a safety in the draft to groom at some point. All right, so there you go. Let's move on to the next article in the Saints, and this is from Fox 8. Saints signed tight end Juwan Johnson to a 1 year deal. They also the other day signed Huggins to Albert Huggins, the big defensive tackle back. That was one of the first moves they make. But they also do a good thing by signing Saints tight end Juwan Johnson back. So there it is. The Saints are bringing back tight end Juwan Johnson to a 1 year deal. A league source confirmed to Fox 8 Sports. Johnson was an exclusive rights free agent, meaning the Saints were the only team he could have negotiated with. Johnson made the full-time transition to tight end last season and finished with 13 catches for 4 touchdowns. According to NFLPA records, Johnson will earn just under $900,000 this upcoming season. So congratulations to Juwan Johnson. Made a really good one. And remember, it's intriguing because before any of this even happened, family, you remember what was happening with Juwan Johnson? We were talking about when he was a wide receiver, man, they need to convert that dude to a wide receiver. And it's crazy because it's like, us in the Great Saint Think Tank, we were saying it before it was a thing. Like the same thing with P.J. Williams. For years, I was talking about P.J. Williams needs to be a safety, man. He needs it because he's not a good cover corner, even though he did a better job this year in years. But when he plays with confidence, he's very dangerous. So it was good to see guys like P.J. Williams step up. And at some point, he was tied with the lead with several other defensive backs with 3 interceptions. So he was stepping up, making plays and making things happen. So I could see P.J. come back here as well. But Juwan Johnson was a very smooth transition to the tight end position. For whatever reason, he disappeared through the middle of the season and couldn't explain why. Coach Payton said he just deactivated him because he needed some guys to play on special teams or whatever it was. But it was games that we went without seeing Juwan Johnson, and that was too bad because the tight end room suffered because of that. You had Nick Vannett that wasn't there. You had Garrett, whatever his face was, getting hurt all the time, and Adam Troutman struggling. So Juwan Johnson, when he came in, when they threw to him and when he came in, he actually did pretty well. And he probably would have had more catches if Taysom Hill wasn't throwing the pass 3-4 feet over his hand. And the man standing up there 6'4". Just crazy. All right, let's move on to the next article here. NFL Players Union agreed to suspend the C-19 protocols, citing decreasing the spread. And this is happening all across the league, fam. So this is a bit of good news as sports intend to go back to normal. You see the mandates coming down. You see all of this is starting to occur, but this is really big. The NFL and NFL Players Association have suspended all league-wide C-19 protocols effective immediately, pausing 2 years of largely successful efforts to play through the pandemic. Teams received a memo Thursday morning detailing the decision, which was based on the current encouraging trends regarding the prevalence and severity of the C19. Many of the league's most severe protocols have been dropped by the end of the 21 season, including the mandatory testing for asymptomatic players and staff requirements to wear contact tracing devices and distance limitations in weight rooms and cafeterias. There is no football activity underway at club facilities at this point in the offseason, and the earliest it can begin is in April 4th for teams that have hired new coaches. But Thursday's change will still affect coaches and other staff members who attend this week's scouting combine in Indianapolis or work year-round in local markets. These employees will no longer face surveillance testing, regardless of vax status or mask requirements. Teams can choose to impose their own mask policies if desired, and the memo does leave the open possibility of reverting to a level of protocol if circumstances warranted. Quote, should there be a reason to reimpose aspects of protocols or take another measurements, the memo notes will work closely with the clubs, NFLPA, and our respective experts and local, state, and federal public health officials to continue to safeguard the health of the NFL community. Teams are still required to comply with any state and local public health regulations. Now, it forced the NFL to cancel the 21 off-season training preseasons, but it's played all regular season and playoff games since, with a total of 8 games being rescheduled. The full slate including an expansion of postseason in 2020. Thank you, brother KT, with his call. I'll read that in just a second, my brother. Thank you for your super chat. And they said in some cases, NFL's work on the C19 informed decisions by the Centers of the CDC and Prevention, CDC and other public institutions. The NFL finished the 21 season with a vac rate of 95% for players and nearly 100% of other football staff members. There were 4 known hospitalizations among players, coaches, and on-field officials for C19 between the start of training camp 2020 and the end of 2021. And of course, that is good news for the players because that was really rough to go through that stuff. And of course, like they said, they can eventually go back to it if it increases, which it more than likely will. Not to be pessimistic, but it's the reason why this is coming off of here now, because a lot is going on. All right, Dr. Key. Thank you, Dr. Key, for becoming a pro megastar. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Key, and big ups to you. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you. Hope everything is well with you. All right, KT says Williams. Okay, Jameson Williams, Ritter with the second pick. Man, that's pretty good draft in there. You get your wide receiver in Williams. You think he's going to be there at 18? More than likely, KT, you know what? You're probably right, bro. Because of the injury that occurred to him, they're anticipating him to slide a bit, which is a blessing in disguise for the Saints that sit right in the center of, almost in the center of the draft. But getting Williams at 18 would be good. You know, he'll have to heal up and get totally good, totally healthy. But that is a weapon of epic proportions. You get the quarterback in Ritter. Out of Cincinnati, you get, and then in the 3rd round, you get Mitchell. Number 4, you get, and then what you said, let's see, number 3, you get Mitchell. 4, Monday. 4, Hart Garrett. 5, Parham. 6, Deese Jr. and Strong Jr. 7, Parham. 22 mock draft. Okay, that's good, KT. Like I said, we're gonna do a mock tomorrow. I'm gonna put in the matter of fact, I'm gonna shoot the link to the family members where they can be able to do that. It's hold on here. I'm going to do that right now so y'all can do your own mock draft simulations. As you can see, it's right here. I got it on screen right here. This is hold on, let me see if I can kind of show y'all where it is. I just had it set up here. Okay, here it is, mock draft simulation. All right, so yeah, and I'm going to link this. I'm going to put this link in the description section for you guys so that you guys can give me just a second here. Hold on here. Let me see if I can do that. Hold on here. Let me see if I can do that, fam. All right, let me see if I can post that. All right. And pretty much what that does, fam, is what it does is that link is right there, that's pinned there. It'll take you, I'm gonna pin it in the top of the chat. And what it'll do is it'll give you an opportunity to do your own mock draft. I pinned it in the chat so you guys can see it. And what it does is it's going to give you an opportunity to do your own mock. You pick, and then you pick the players according to the need. So, I mean, you can see KT did his thing. And of course, you do this. And tomorrow I'm going to try to fit as many people as I can with their mock drafts onto the show and have them to explain. I'll do one too, explain mine, and then we'll roll down KT, GM Kev, and the rest of the family members, the Sports Coma draft gurus, to kind of decide and explain why they picked who they picked. You get what I'm saying? We'll do that, have a little fun with it. All right, but anyway, like I said, fam, this is not going to be a long broadcast. I just wanted to come at you guys with some good news here. But anyway, we're going to do a recap here. We talked about this one by Luke Johnson, the Saints playing at QB. We talked about it, played Mickey Loomis, and this article kind of went along with Mickey Loomis as well. We talked about the financial ramifications of bringing what it looks like on the open market for guys like Jameis Winston, Terron Armstead, Marcus Williams, Deontay Harris-Hardy. What it looked like for the Saints to resign some of these men. We knew the Saints already signed back Huggins, the interior defensive lineman, Albert Huggins, and tight end Juwan Johnson to deals. And that's good to have him back. We also talked about the NFL Players Union agreeing to suspend the C-19 protocols, which is big, which is very big. But there are other stuff that's circulating that's going on with the Wall Street stuff and insurance numbers that's kind of leading to this. So it's a lot of stuff going on in the world behind that, man. But anyway, that's some of the stuff that we're talking about on the stream. So yeah, I'm not gonna try to keep y'all very long, but tomorrow we're gonna bounce back and do the show like I said, and we'll make sure that I give everybody an opportunity to do a mock draft for their own, to decide on what they're gonna do. Brother J. Alexander Williams said, Biggie, you gotta let me explain my mock tomorrow. You gonna get it? Oh yeah, Brother J. Alexander, yeah, you're gonna get an opportunity to do it as well. So like I said, I'm gonna give everybody an opportunity. Try to fit as many people as I possibly can in the show tomorrow so people can do their mock drafts and, and explain themselves. So you do your mock and then we'll put you out there and we'll have you explain, before the Who Dat Nation and let them and tell them why you drafted, who you drafted. Brother JT said, hey Q, I took a couple of days off with the death of my family, my father and my aunt, and then my sister. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. With the death in your family. Much love to you, brother JT. We always sending out prayers and blessings. But much love to you, my friend. It's a very difficult time, man. This stuff is this out there, man, is no joke. I've lost people close to me as well, and it's hard to fathom sometimes, man. But I always say it's got to be a plan, in place. So much love to you, bro. Much support to you. Blessings on you. Love to you and your family, man, as you go through the difficult time, bro. But we'll be here. We'll be here and we'll go through it with you like a family's supposed to. So much love, and thank you for sharing that, brother JT. Much love. All right, Tyrese says, I love Trey Burks. He reminds me of Deebo Samuel, wide receiver, running back. He fast. He can make tough catches. Thank you, Tyrese. Much love. All right. Yeah, Brian Robinson. Yeah, he's a pretty good one too, as well. Yeah, I was looking at a lot of this stuff, man, for the family members. Checking that out. What's up, Kelvin? Who that to you, fam? Appreciate you being in the building. Sam Howell, yeah, Tyrese, yeah. Howell, they had mock drafts putting Saints and Howell together. Yeah. What's up, KB? Who that to you, Queen? All right. Yeah, brother KT said Corral is okay, but not the best in the class. He talking to Free Game. What's up, Free Game? Yeah, they got a lot of really good receivers in this draft, man, especially the top 5 or 6 guys. If the Saints most certainly go into the first round with wide receiver in mind, they're going to find somebody. There are 5, and not all of them are not going to be on the board. At least half of them, when it gets to the Saints, more than likely will still be there. And Jameson Williams is a guy that could be there because people anticipating him sliding to the mid to late round because of his injury that happened in the bowl game. So we can end up having a star there as well. And the Saints are going to feel what they can, but there could be guys or cheaper options, veteran options to help upgrade the wide receiver room in free agency. Perhaps a guy like DJ Chalk. We talked about that on TSC Q&A Live. DJ Chalk is a fantastic wide receiver, has a lot of speed, still developing, has a lot of speed, can catch the ball. There is guys like Michael Gallup who would center. He's a guy with speed and can catch, and he's quite dynamic in his own right. There's guys safety. There's a real safe wide receivers like Christian Kirk, inside, outside guys that catch everything you throw to him. He's dealing with some injury issues. And there are other people, not the top echelon in free agency, but the second tier guys, that you can get for a steal, or guys you can bring in second to third tier guys that you can bring in on a inexpensive contract to help bring a veteran edge to your wide receiver room. And also, like I said, they have some veteran tight end options in this free agency as well. The Saints can go to that can help out, whether that's Zach Ertz, whether that's Kyle Rudolph. There are several really interesting options for tight ends that can come in and actually help the development of the tight end room. And like I said, there are a lot of needs on the offensive side of the ball, and would not be surprised if the majority of these picks in this draft are offensive. I would not be surprised at all. If anything is within the first 4 picks in the draft for the Saints that's defensive, I'm thinking safety. But outside of that, most of that should be offensive picks, because every room, could use some help. Excluding quarterback, once you sign Jameis Winston, you most certainly want to give him weapons. And of course, the Alvin Kamara debacle does provide an opportunity for you to address that as well. So a lot of that's going on. So Steven, what's up? Steve says, let Marcus Williams walk. PJ is second safety. That's right, Tim. Russell Gage too. Yeah, Russell Gage is a guy that also you could throw in that third tier, inexpensive wide receiver. And Russell Gage hurt the Saints when he played. He's a guy that has a little speed. He catches stuff. Russell Gage is a weapon, man. He ain't the big name, but he's one of those guys that can come in and help. Like he did. He really helped. He really hurt the Saints in some of them games when we was playing, when Kelvin Ridley wasn't there anymore, and Russell Gage stepped in there. Russell Gage was hurting the Saints in a couple of them games last year. So, I mean, yeah, we should remember him as well. Brother Ernest says, Professor Ernest says, Pickens from Georgia. Yeah, I was watching tape on him, Professor, as well. He's not a bad. They got a lot of good wide receivers in this draft, man. A lot of good ones. Not a lot of good ones. Yeah, Chris Olave is another good one there. Tyrese. Yep. They got, Drake London, Garrett Wilson. You won't get him. He'll be the first one off the, he'll be the first thing smoking coming off of that. But yeah, absolutely. Cedric Wilson's another good one. Yeah, JT, you're right. Cedric Wilson's another good one. That's a third tier wide receivers. They get the Russell Gages, the Cedric Wilsons, and then right above that you have the Gallups and the guys like that. But those are where you would think the Saints would want to go to get a veteran wide receiver to go along with the young guys that they draft in the draft to kind of steady the room a bit. And then you had a veteran like Kyle Rudolph there, or I don't know if you're going to get Ertz, but Kyle Rudolph fits for what you're trying to do. It mixed in that tight end room, because you bring Juwan Johnson back. Troutman still needs to develop a bit. And then the Saints need to focus on how to deal with how they fix the offensive line. I know Terron Armstead seems like he's going to be priced out of there, but what do you do? For the other pieces of the line, what happens? With Terron Armstead out, your most expensive offensive lineman, which is Ryan Ramczyk, Big Check will turn into your blindside tackle. He was that in college. He will be that again. And eventually the Saints will have to figure out if Ruiz is who they want to be at guard or center. Who's going to be the opposite tackle position? Is it Andrus? Does Andrus stay at guard, or does he go to the right tackle? We know they restructured his contract, but does Andrus does he stay at the guard position, or do he kind of swing out to that opposite tackle position? That's still some flux there that the Saints have to figure out going into the season. And of course, they need depth behind James Hurst, who is that sixth offensive lineman that comes in when somebody gets hurt. They still need depth. I'm not big on Kelvin Throckmorton. Didn't like how he played last year. He was a turnstile. And Landon Young, the little bit we seen from Landon before he got a broken foot, he had a bit upside. But still in all, the Saints need to address the depth in their offensive line. And, of course, Alvin Kamara with this Las Vegas stuff, you reach in the draft at some point and get a running back, which you more than likely probably could get a pretty good running back, maybe between the 4th and 5th perhaps there. Well, I mean, there's an opportunity where the Saints can do that as well. So, like I said, they'll have more picks too, because once they compute the compensatory side of it, they'll have more picks to go along with the picks that they have already. So, the Saints they will get additional picks to go along with what they have. So they'll have an opportunity to fill quite a few holes there. All right, Derek Abshire says, give me all linemen. Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, like I said, a lot of people don't understand, man, the Saints offensive line. You seen cracks in the armor last year, like when it started with Carolina. We just eviscerated Green Bay and Florida, and then came back against Carolina. Like, what the hell going on? It's like night and day. And then you started seeing throughout the season cracks in the Saints offensive line outside of the injuries. But even when the five were together in the few times that they were together, they didn't look all that dominant. I still look like Eric McCoy. I still say Eric McCoy was dealing with injuries, but because I never seen McCoy get pancaked that much. I thought he worked for IHOP somewhere. But, I mean, and then Cesar Ruiz is, what do you do with him? Do you finally play him at center? Because he's not a guard. He's not a very good one. What happens with Andrus Peat? Does he slide to tackle or does he stay at guard? It's quite a few things to think about with the offensive line to protect Jameis Winston. So what does the Saints offensive line look with Ryan Ramczyk as the best lineman there? And him finally getting healthy again. That's a big plus. Finally getting him back after 7 missed games and him being strong. And, of course, the Saints' depth in the offensive line is another thing. So it all culminates, man, in the draft cycle of what we need to do. But they'll have a lot of picks to kind of address that. All right. What's up, Glenn says, whoever gets Corral will hurt Saints. Panthers are after him. He reads defenses fast, mobility, and the arm is deadly. The fire burns in him. There are plenty of wide receivers out there every year, but not QB. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate you. Yeah, I know about Matt Corral all too well, man. When the legend of Matt Corral started a couple of years ago, he was somebody. When he played LSU, he had that big game. I think he had like 300 yards rushing and 400 yards passing or something like that. And people are like, who the hell is this guy? That's when he got on my radar. When he did that, he had like 300 yards rushing that game and like 300 yards. It was ridiculous. I was like, who the hell is this guy? But the guy he's unreal. He's very athletic. He has a high football IQ. They're saying he has attitude problems. I don't know, but that's some of the knocks they're saying about Corral. But they got to poison your punch, so to speak, to kind of drop your stock. So they can reach at you to get you, because get you where they want you. They do that every year, start putting out bad information on certain players to kind of let the air out of their stock, so to speak, But thank you for that. Brother Eric says, Q, don't forget Michael Gallup out of Dallas. Yeah, I was talking about him, Eric. Yeah, I was talking about him. Yeah, I got you, Brother Prime. Velas, yeah, from Tennessee. Yeah, he ran a 4.33 and 4.32. Yeah, and listen. Velas Jones, and then, of course, the other wide receiver. And remember, them Tennessee wide receivers, you got to pay attention to them because your wide receiver coach came from there. Cody Burns just came from there, and he knows those wide receivers. So for Prime to say Velas Jones, he's talking about something. I'm thinking about, what's the kid name? Pittman? Is his name Pittman? The other wide receiver from Tennessee, who's the best. That's the best of the two is this other kid. Is it Pittman or Stillman? I'm gonna have to look him up, but I remember we played him talking about Cody Burns. And when you talk about Tennessee wide receivers, Burns knows those guys and what they could bring. So he got the inside baseball on those guys. So yeah, Prime, you saying something right there. All right, Swag Fan, what's up, fam? Sans we get rid of Tony Jones and pick up some bruising backs to fill the void, AK-41. Well, remember, that's what Dennis Allen was saying, that he wants a bruising running attack, man, a power running game, and that sounds like Latavius to me. But right now, Tony Jones can run inside and outside, man. He really is. He just, he's just unproven. He's still a young player trying to figure it out. But the Saints, do they reach into free agency and get a cheaper back or do they grab one in the draft? And that's what I'm saying. They'll have a lot of picks and they can fill a lot of needs this year to kind of stay cap compliant. All right. Let's see right here. All right. Let me get a couple of more and then we'll get out. Derek says Winston coming off an injury. We need protection. You're absolutely right. We definitely need some offensive line help there. KT says Trey Burks is a monster, but did you see Christian Watson out of North Dakota State? No, I heard about him. Out of the kid from North Dakota State. Yeah, I heard about him. KT. I heard about him a lot. He's one of them diamonds in the rough. A lot of people not talking about him, but I expect you to mention him. Glenn said the best wideouts are from Arkansas and Ole Miss. Seen them all that are worth their split. Put the film on. Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you, Glenn, for that. I will. All right. KT says look out for Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. 6'4", 208, 439, 40. Okay. Thank you, KT. And KT is our resident scout master from the Sports Cone. We're gonna have KT on tomorrow, man, to talk about some of his diamonds in the rough. And then of course KT did his mock draft, so we're gonna have him to kind of explain his mock draft. But yeah, Tyree says, what if we go defense round one? Like who would you take? I mean, somebody good at default to you. I don't know why they would do that, you know. But you never know with the Saints. Remember that year we were supposed to take a defensive player the year Cesar Ruiz was drafted, and that just surprised. And one of the family members, I forgot who it was, says, watch we take a center. I'm like, well, why would we take a center? We don't need. And then they took a center. Sure did. That was Cesar Ruiz. People are like, what the hell do we need a center? And then later on, Coach Payton turns into a guard, and he was a shitty one. Played sparingly good, and then they moved him to the center position. He played better. But that's really a problem there. They're going to have to figure out what do you do with Cesar Ruiz, because I don't know if I could stomach another year of Ruiz at guard, man. He's not a good guard. Not at all. So, I mean, yeah, but the Saints are known to surprise you. But let's hope the more conservative Saints under Dennis Allen would be more predictable in terms of sticking to their their weaknesses, getting people that strengthen the weaknesses, like add more explosiveness to the wide receiver room, to the running back room, tight end room, depth to the offensive line room, stuff like that, you know. Yeah, JT, that was you. All right. I knew it was somebody, JT. I was kind of figured. I was like, yeah. They were saying, well, watch the Saints take this dude, and I was like, well, you know, we'll see what happens. And they sure enough did take him too. You was absolutely right, JT. The Saints they did that shit. But yeah, it's crazy, man, how that all works out, man. But anyway, fam, that's gonna do it for the show. Much love to the fam. I appreciate y'all. Please feel free to hit upon the like button, hit the like button, hit the share button, and share the stream with other great Saint with the rest of Saint family members. Also, feel free to hit the notification bell for shows. I've been getting messages, family members saying they're not getting their show notifications. So make sure your notification button is lit up, like your subscribe button is lit up to get the notification. Sometimes hitting the subscribe button ain't enough. So make sure you hit the notification button as well. It's specifically designed for that purpose, because there was a lot of complaints saying that people wasn't getting their notifications. So make sure you do that. Also, I'm going to start doing more double postings. When a show hits, I'm going to post it again in the community page just in case somebody missed it, because I am getting a lot of that. People telling me, Q, I'm not getting the show notifications to keep you alive, my friend. And I'm like, you know what, brother, I'm gonna have to double post it just to make sure family members get it. So, well, anyway, with that being said, thank you, Glenn. Much love, Trey. Mocha, who that to you? Brian Robinson Jr. Yeah, Brian, that's another dude. We're gonna talk about all these guys. Yeah, KT, Jalen Petrie. You know, I was telling you, Petrie is a really good one, man. Safety wise, I was looking at. I like how he plays the position. All right, so yeah, like I said, yeah. Thank you, Derek, for subscribing. Much love to Derek as well. Appreciate you hitting the subscribe button, my friend, and welcome to the Sports Coma, baby. Welcome to the Great Saint Think Tank. I salute you. Much love, brother Derek. All right. So with that being said, anybody talk about your Saints? You tell them in a New Orleans accent. Yeah. We say for the Pelican post-game report, man, if anybody talk about your Pelicans. Yeah, but see, the Saints got old in the tooth. So we used to it, but the Pelicans, they're attacking the Pelicans right now. They were. And then the Pelicans start winning and they all hush now. So it's like, it's funny, man, how they want to take your team. They want to talk mess about your people. So you got to stand up against these big bullies out here, man. These national people out there at the ESPNs, these people be trying to poison your soup, point over there and then drop something in your soup and tell you, go ahead on and eat it. No, we ain't going to fall for that. We ain't falling for the okie doke. So, yeah, you got to stand and protect your squads, man. That's what we do, But anyway, Swag says, our Pelicans get paying off. Timberwolves fans, quiet up here. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we got a lot of work to do, man. But listen, them Pelicans looking real good tomorrow, man. They got Utah Jazz coming in. And this the Pelicans, man. Y'all have a lot to be surprised and happy for. What's up, old cooler? Who that to you, fam? Good to see you. Dominic, I see you, fam. All right, Ernest, he says, Lewis, yeah, out of Georgia, the safety is another good one, too. They're anticipating him to be one of the top 3 safeties coming out the draft. So, yeah, he's another dude that I was looking at in that Georgia defense, man. My goodness. All right, yeah, McKinley, too. I see him, KT. Yeah, McKinley's another good one. Yeah, you're right. Those are ball hawks. So with that being said, fam, we're going to get our draft gurus in the show tomorrow. We're going to do some mocks. We'll have a little fun on our Friday stream. Before the Pelican post-game report later on that night. Much love to the fam. I appreciate y'all joining in, and I'm going to holler at y'all later. Who that to you, and I'm out.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons. We won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.